Right, it's not girls on film. It's at least one girl and at least one bloke on stage at the East Riding Theatre. And as I said, council leader in Hull, Stephen Brady, name-checking Richard Bean and The Hypocrite. Well, he wrote The Hypocrite. He's written this new... I don't know whether it's a new piece of work or not. I don't know. It's called Kiss Me. It's happening at the East Riding Theatre. And Bettine McKenzie, Edward Cole are in it, and Matt Aston is directing it, and all three in the studio this morning. Morning to you.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm going to start with you, Bettine. Is there only you and Edward in it, or is there a full cast?
No,
not
it's
that
just us.
you two are not a full cast. It's not going well, this, is it? Shall we start that again? Tell us about the play. That would have been the sensible question.
Yeah, it's just a two-hander. It's just me and Ed, and it's a really lovely play. It's set just after the First World War, and Stephanie, my character, which is not her real name, has solicited the services of Dennis, which is also not his real name. They're kind of taking on these characters because Dennis has come round to impregnate Stephanie.
All right, okay. Fair enough. These things apparently happen.
She lost her husband in the war, and I think a lot of women, there was just a lack of men, so she wants to have a baby, and yeah, she's got Dennis round to come and
to do the business in sort of street terms. There's probably a streeter term than that, but that's the term I'm going to use. Do you prefer Ed then rather than Edward?
Ed, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I've got you the wrong way round. I can. Ed, tell us more about this in terms of.
So it is a new play. It was actually written last year, and I think premiered in London and at the Hampstead Theatre, and then transferred to Trafalgar Studios. And it's unusual for a show that's been on in London to sort of leave London so quickly. But I think Richard Bean was sort of directly involved in that, because I believe he's involved at the East Riding Theatre, and it's part of a sort of trilogy that East Riding Theatre were doing of like Hull plays. So It's Different for Girls was the show that just finished there, which is a fantastic production by She Productions, which was looking at Mandy and the Girlfriends, that band. It was a great show. And then following us, I think God was going in with Wuthering Heights. But yeah, it's a great little show. It's two-hander. It got great reviews in London, and it's it's sort of just over an hour long, and it's divided over 3 acts, 3 scenes, and it sort of tells this story in 3 parts about Dennis and Stephanie, not their real names, and this sort of quite bizarre relationship they begin, and that they sort of foster, that starts as something quite professional, that then becomes something quite personal and takes a few sort of unexpected twists, and yeah, all set against the backdrop of Britain post World War I. So it's set in 1929, so sort of very much still reeling from the after effects of the war, and yeah, it's a really, really nice little piece, really interesting piece, and because it's Richard Bean, the writings of standard.
Of the highest quality.
Absolutely, yeah.
Matt is directing it. Is it a light piece or a dark piece, or somewhere in between?
It's quite a light piece. I mean, it's funny. I mean, Richard's writing often is, as you know, and it's the starting point, of course, is the fact that a generation had been wiped out during the First World War, and as Betsy mentioned, there's a lot of women who have been left bereft and widowed and don't have, for want of a better phrase, access to men. So that's kind of not the happiest of starting points, but the characters quickly develop a really nice rapport, and there's some really lovely lines in it. But as has been mentioned, there are some twists that take it in various different ways. But it's a really lovely hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes in the theatre, so you've been in the bar by 9 o'clock, which is always a good thing.
Is that for the director?
Yeah.
And the cast?
I'll already be in the bar. That's the problem.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, no, it's good words and thankfully good acting, and I think that's just a really a lovely way of spending a night in the theatre.
We should tell people when it runs.
It opens next Thursday, the 5th of October, and it goes through until the 28th of October, so just over 3 weeks. We've got last few days in the rehearsal room. We've had a really lovely time, I think.
Yeah.
Good.
Cast confirms, nodding,
and why not? We'll just be ready to go in. Yeah.
Tickets are £12 to £18. You can book them online, www.eastridingtheatre.co.uk, or via the box office 01482 874 There is a matinee performance somewhere along the line.
On
Normally it's
Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Yeah, 7:30 in the
2:30.
evening.
How do you make your voices heard? We were talking about City of Culture and all that's going on with. We've heard our town crier mention the Bev Lit Up Festival. How do you make your voices heard so you get people to come and see what you're doing?
It seems like that specifically now. There seems to be quite a lot going on in this sort of few weeks. There's loads. So I know Kings of Hull is opening at the new. I was just opening at the new theatre.
Yeah.
And I went to see Tractors in Ukrainian at Truck the other night. So there seems to be loads going on. But I think that is actually a good thing. You could see it as competition, or you could just see it as, you know, an opportunity for people to get really into the theatre scene. And I went to see something at Truck, so because of that I'll go and see something else at Hull New, and then I'll go see something in East Riding Theatre. I think it's sort of a supportive thing rather than a competitive thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a critical mass. If you find one, it's like the marina taking off in Hull. You know, one restaurant, maybe not many people will go, but if you've got half a dozen, people will go because they know they'll see something.
Absolutely,
yes?
Absolutely.
I think it's such an exciting. It has been exciting vibrant time for the city over the last kind of 9 months and for the next 3 months, and hopefully that will continue from the announcement this morning. And that's there's that great world legacy of what will happen after this year, and it's such a fantastic time to be in the area, and I think this will hopefully kind of succeed on the back of all of that.
Bettine, have you played before in the East Riding Theatre, which is a place I really like? I don't go enough, but I like it as a venue.
I love it. I think it's great. I did one show there before in March this year. That was my first one, the night season. So I played Judith in that, and that was my first time there. And I knew Adrian Rawlins, the artistic director, before, so he got me in. And I think it's just I've loved being there. It's got an incredible kind of atmosphere, and with it all being, well, not new. I mean, it's just. But it is new for a theatre, so it's just kind of.
But because it was
a
church, it's got a sort of
it's got an amazing atmosphere.
Sort of vibe and history
about
it.
I mean, that's the thing with venues, with theatres. You can throw millions of pounds at a venue, but sometimes you don't get that feeling. You're right, but other spaces that you find, like an old church or an old chocolate factory, for example, like down in London, sometimes you just have that sense of performance, and ERT just works. It has that feeling.
And also largely thanks to the people who are putting the work in there. I think there are a lot of volunteers there who give their time and effort, who help out on a day-to-day basis, and also with the shows as well. And we've experienced that firsthand, people coming in and doing costume fittings and building the set and that kind of thing quite often on just on their own time. So I think that's worth a mention as well.
And do you get a quality stamp because it is a piece of work by Richard Bean, and everybody knows Richard Bean will deliver in his writing?
I think that really helps. I mean, obviously Richard's a patron of the venue since it opened 2 or 3 years ago, but also I think ERT have very quickly got that reputation as well. Kind of presenting and producing quality work on a relatively small budget, and so you got the quality of the writing, but also I say the venue's reputation has grown very quickly.
Okay, and you will be ready. Well, you're whipping them into shape.
Yeah, not panicking yet.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So it starts 5th of October.
That's right. Yeah.
To the 28th of October.
Yeah.
There's a matinee performance on Saturdays at 2:30. The other show is 7:30. Tickets $12 to £18. Lots of W's. EastRidingTheatre.co.uk. 01482 874 050. It's called Kiss Me. All the best. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Very much for your time.